Hey everyone, welcome to the Discussion May Cry podcast, your source for all things Devil May Cry, whether it be news, information, speculation, and so much more within the DMC universe. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Cool. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Fallen and Hunter. Guys, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Sorry. No, that's bad.
Great start. Alright.
It's excellent.
Yeah, alright. So, we recently had New York Comic Con take place about over a week ago, and there was a Devil May Cry 5 panel. The entire panel can be watched on the official Devil May Cry YouTube channel. It's around about 40 minutes, 45 minutes or something like that. And we did get some new information as well as new info about certain weapons and also the opening cutscene, the very first thing we'll see in the game. So we're gonna just be covering all the big news from New York Comic Con, and we'll start with the weapons. Alright, guys, we have some returning weapons. And one of them is the Cerberus. The Cerberus weapon returns in Devil May Cry 5, but this time it will have 3 separate modes. It'll have the classic ice nunchucks, as well as the fire bow staff and lightning chain. So guys, what do you think about this? The return of Cerberus.
I'll go first. I think it is a very much welcome return, especially with how it goes and how you can transition between 3 different modes. I mean, that fire bow staff it's looking pretty sweet, man. That you can really chain some good combos. And speaking of chain, that lightning chain is off the hook. The ice nunchucks, I'm
It's still cool.
But the fire, it's still cool. But the fire bow staff and the lightning chain is where it is at.
Yeah, I think the fire bow staff is probably going to be something I'm using quite a lot. Especially if they have the pole dancer move where you can spin on the floor like it's a stripper pole. I hope they bring that back.
Yeah, and are you guys surprised that we are getting returning weapons? Because that's not really common in the DMC franchise, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'm not surprised. They know what the fans want this time around. It's kind of almost their obligation to give that to us now.
I mean, if you think about it, Hunter's right. It's not a surprise. Given how long we've had without, they are riding high off of the nostalgia, which is why we have both Trish and Lady back in this new installment. And it's why we're likely also going to see Virgil.
We are definitely going to see Virgil. No question.
The question is, what other new weapons what other old weapons are going to return?
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about as well, because so far we just have the Cerberus confirmed, and we've also got gameplay of it. But what else? Like, there's tons of insane, incredible weapons we've had in the Devil May Cry franchise. So, what do you guys want to see? Return. What do you guys want to play on the brand new consoles instead of back in the PS2 days? No, this will be crisp, clean, and just 10 times better.
Let's see. I don't know, I'm going to need a minute.
Alright, so the one that I want to see return is Agni and Rudra.
Yep.
Those two were fucking... Look, I know it's something that we all take a look at on occasion, and we're like, oh, dual-wield swords, what a surprise, but there's just something that's just so satisfying about those, especially the elemental ability that comes with it. It's just too good, man. I need it. I need it in my life. Capcom, bring it back. It's cool. You know what you have to do.
I completely agree with you with Agni and Rudra. Those are probably my favorite weapons in the entire franchise after the Rebellion. Yeah, dual-wielded are always super fun in games. And I've been playing Marvelous Capcom Infinite recently, and they have that in the game for Dante. And it's just so fun. It's so fun to play with. So I definitely want to see that return.
I want Navon to come back.
That's a good one as well.
In my opinion, it's okay. It's like one of the better weapons because it's weird, but it's kind of fits his old man rockstar persona.
What about
Just imagine Navon coming back in all those updated graphics.
Oh yeah.
The Wife of Wars continue.
No, well, I was going to suggest that. I mean, for the DT, she would be summoned back in her human form. It actually wrecked some shit. Her main demon form, excuse me.
Yeah, and what about Lucifer from DMC4?
No.
You guys ever a big fan of Lucifer?
I'm comment on
I
that.
wasn't, but hey, if you want to bring it back, go for it.
I thought it was underrated. Like, you could do a lot more with that type of weapon. So,
You could, but the thing about it is it kind of relied on, it might as well just be punches at that point. He's kind of not even throwing it, he's like really close to the blades.
yeah, and that's why they could expand on that. Instead of having it really close, it could be a lot farther when you do attack.
True.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to play with, I think, with the Lucifer weapon. So, with Cerberus Returning, it's great that they're also expanding on that with having 3 different separate modes. So, again, the combos in this game are going to be absolutely insane. We gotta make a bunch of combo videos when the game comes out.
Holy crap, okay, alright. I'm gonna say RIP to my thumb, but okay.
Because, I mean, hey, it will be endless possibilities. But how many new weapons do you guys think we'll actually see in this game, for Dante at least?
At least 6.
6 brand new weapons?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I'm gonna go with, based off of the old and new weapons that we've seen thus far, I think we're gonna get 3 or 4 more.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's a safe bet.
And what about returning weapons? Not counting the rebellion.
2 more.
Yeah, that's solid numbers. I think you'll probably be right.
But the fucking theorist in me says we're gonna see at least 10 more new weapons. The reason why is Itsuno said, what do you call it? That you're not gonna want to take all the weapons with you, and how do you make it so that you don't take all the weapons with you? You make it so that there's too many for you to take with you.
Do you think we'll get that many weapons with Dante, since we do have Nero and V as well? So, like, we already have the variety there with 2 other characters. So are they going to add so much for Dante?
I think they will.
Okay. I mean, I think 10 is a bit of a stretch, but we'll have to wait and see.
It's a bit of a stretch, but I mean, at this point, the sky's the limit for them.
Yeah, I think so as well.
You know, it'll be really wild. They include all the old weapons from the numbered games, and they include the weapons from the reboot.
Oh, stop it, dude. Stop it, yeah.
Oh yeah, we have not gone far enough.
Yeah, you're teasing me too much now. This is too much for me. Because, dude, we're gonna explode if that's the case.
See, if that's the case, I'm gonna remind you about you when you said that you want to take all of them with you at the same time. That is too much power for one man.
I mean, hey, a guy can only nut so hard, so...
You take all those weapons with you, you're gonna have a heart attack mid-game.
I'll still take all of them. It's called skill, dude. It's called skill. Alright, and when it comes to new weapons, they did confirm that the Faust hat will be a brand new type of weapon. And it resembles a cowboy hat and gives Dante special abilities that harness red orbs to perform attacks such as meteor storms. The hat can also be thrown at an enemy, which will mark them and will return with even more red orbs once the foe is killed. However, the player can lose more red orbs if the enemy is not defeated and attacks the player instead. So, yeah, alright. When you read it, it's kind of confusing to know how it works, but I believe there is footage over there during the NYCC panel. So, guys, first impressions on the Faust hat.
Yeehaw!
There we go.
I'm a fan of it. You know, I always thought that Dante would look better with cowboy hat, and now it's come true. The color is an okay one. It could be better. Would have looked better in either red or black, but I digress.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can change the color of it later. Who knows?
Hopefully. I think it's a very interesting way to introduce a weapon. It feels like it's gonna be since you can summon that meteor storm with it.
Yeah.
It feels like it's gonna be more like, rather than the straight on combos that Dante does, it'll feel like it'll be more akin to using magic in another game. But hey, we'll see how much of a cowboy Dante is. If he doesn't ride a horse at least once, I'm gonna be disappointed though.
Me too. And reading the description of the Faust hat, am I the only one that gets reminded of Super Mario Odyssey for whatever reason?
I can kind of see it if in the way that he throws it, where it lands on an enemy's head. That honestly, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not the only one. But hey,
Yeah, well, I think it's cool. It's a good anti-microtransaction weapon. Some people try to say, "Oh, too many microtransactions." No, there isn't.
You have the way to farm red blood orbs right there. What, you think you're gonna lose your red blood orbs? What, do you suck? Eat good, scrub. Eat good.
yeah, it's completely different than anything we've seen in the franchise, so I think that's pretty cool. It's new, it's fresh, and also it implements, a lot of the red orbs in the combat system, so I think that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And like you said, you can lose red orbs if the enemy's not defeated and attacks the player instead. So yeah, it makes it challenging. I think it's gonna be pretty cool, but I don't know how many people are actually going to be using this when you can pick and choose with the weapons. This might be one of those weapons that people won't be using too much. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I mean, maybe it can be, because if you can throw it onto an enemy to mark them, I imagine that it would stay on them. Maybe during that marking time, you can bring out other weapons and you can chain that combo. So it's not something that people would use on the offensive, but as like a support item. But it has that option to be used defensively.
Right. And you did already mention this, but we have to bring it up again. Does it have to resemble a cowboy hat out of any other hat in the entire world? A cowboy hat?
It should be a cowboy hat, and I'm glad it is.
It's like, okay, I mean, it's not exactly the coolest type of hats.
Oh, what, do you want him in a beanie? Do you want to see Dante wearing a fucking fedora?
Hey, a beanie worked for Delson in Infamous Second Son.
That's a whole different look.
It looks
Dante
cool.
would not pull off that beanie.
Oh,
Trench coat
but
with a beanie, that is not cool.
oh, but he can pull off a cowboy hat.
Fuck yeah, it is. It makes him look more Western, especially with that rugged charm of his. It fucking goes together. Although I will say the scarf is I'm not a fan of the scarf. You got me there. But the cowboy hat, you do not insult that.
It's the opposite. The scarf is okay, not the hat.
No. You're insane. That scarf is horrible.
I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind a beanie. I told you, Delson, he's cool.
There's a difference between Delson
Sure.
and Dante, though. It's two different character aesthetics. With Dante, I mean, it makes sense. It especially if he had Nero's revolver.
Yeah,
Look,
they're two completely different characters. You're right, but I don't know, just something about a cowboy hat. I don't know, it's like that doesn't scream cool. That doesn't scream Dante.
here, let me send you this still image, and you tell me that he is a gunslinger at heart. And I'm glad that finally he has a cowboy hat where he can express that openly.
I
I
mean,
mean, did you want him to have like a baseball cap or a trilby?
I'm pretty sure those won't look good as those will not look good as well.
The hat reminds me of Michael Jackson a little bit when he's in certain poses.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's actually good. That was actually the picture I was gonna send. Straight up like Michael Jackson in this one. Bam. Look, don't you want to beat the shit out of enemies while listen to Smooth Criminal?
Uh,
You've
ne-
been struck by a smooth criminal.
never thought about it until now. You know what? Maybe I'll try that.
I mean, look, a baseball cap also wouldn't have worked.
Oh, that'll be
What
bad.
do you call it? That British hat where it's like a flat cap, that wouldn't have worked.
All right.
Look,
there are worse options than a cowboy hat, sure, but it's also not. It may not be the best. It's in the middle, I
It's
guess.
the best. It's the best.
Oh,
Look, do you want him to wear a newsboy cap or an old school style French Revolutionary hat?
I mean,
Oh.
hey, we don't know how it would look on him.
Don't you dare say yes.
We don't know how it would look on Dante.
You know what? We're giving him a white powdered wig now. So we're just throwing anything on him.
Yeah. All right, and so yeah, the false hat, it's intriguing, has a lot of cool features to it, so I am excited to use it. All right, and now let's get on to something else. So, the Sweet Surrender is one of Nero's, what you call it?
Double breakers.
Right, Devil Breaker. That's one of his Devil Breakers, and there's been a lot of sexual undertones with the Sweet Surrender when it comes to fans online. But one of the features of Sweet Surrender is that it can heal you, but only during the battle itself. So outside of battle, outside of combat, it won't heal you. What do you guys think?
I'm just saying it was more than undertones. It was like straight up overtones in the community. I'm surprised I didn't see any fan art.
Oh, I'm sure there's fan art somewhere. You can Google it.
The memes have been excellent though.
Oh, so good.
Like I say, it adds another layer to the gameplay of the weapon. And yeah, the undertones or overtone. Yeah, be damned, it was funny.
I mean, hey, like, I was just looking it up just before we recorded. Like, there's long articles about the sexual nature of this weapon. I mean, like, guys, we get it, guys, we get it.
Look, it's an overglorified vibrator. Neo as a woman knows how it feels, and so Nero has a robot arm that can get a little rough, especially if you haven't had it for long. So you got to go with a robot arm that also works as a vibrator, and apparently it can heal you. So
Good point. Yeah, and like Hunter just said, it adds new layers to the combat. So I think this is pretty cool. And also you don't have to choose the Sweet Surrender. It's just an option there. So you should, yeah. So yeah, it's cool. It will help a lot during combat, especially if you're not a good player and you keep getting hits. You'll be healed. We don't know how much, but I think this is pretty cool. Something new. All right. Now let's get on to the opening cutscene. So at the panel, they showed us the full opening cutscene to Devil May Cry 5. And I believe it's around 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. And we saw it in the first ever trailer that we got for DMC5, the reveal trailer at E3 this year. It's basically Nero and Nico in the van. I can't really hear the dialogue all too much in the video I saw, but it's just them going back and forth, and the Devil Trigger theme song does play. So, guys, what do you think of this being the very first thing we see when we start playing the game?
I think what it tells us is, if you both recall that moment from a certain trailer where we see Nero without his arm, I think that story is not going to be told like at first. That one is going to be a flashback. It's probably going to be Nero telling either Dante or V about it.
Oh, flashback. Okay.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be. I mean, if you take a look at the nature of that scene, it feels very, very much like a flashback. So, I mean, sticking with the current cutscene, I think it's a decent one because it tells you a lot of what to expect. It's over the top. It's completely you have to have a suspension of disbelief that this is actually how a battle like that would go. It at the end of the day, what you can come to expect from the series.
Yeah, it
over
just
the top action and shooting the fuck out of demons and using one as an ashtray.
it
Rest in
sets
peace, team.
it sets the tone immediately for the game.
Yep.
So I think it's cool, and we've already seen a lot of it from the first trailer. So yeah, it works. It also gives us a lot of Nico in the first place. So I think this is cool. I think we see a lot of character from Nico. So I think this is pretty cool. And yeah, we do have to suspend our disbelief a lot, which is not a bad thing. That's completely fine.
I mean, here's how it goes. It's using the rule of cool. Does it make sense? No.
No.
Does it matter?
No.
No. Because it's cool.
And that's what matters.
If they keep to the rule of cool enough, then it'll be a good game.
Are you sure this is a flashback as opposed to having this cutscene and then we jump immediately to Nero fighting a bunch of demons right after this cutscene? Just like as kind of a tutorial.
No, I'm not saying that opening is the flashback. I'm saying that what do you call it? That moment where Nero gets his arm ripped off. We're gonna see
Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
Because most people would assume that how it would go is you open with Dante, then you flash to Nero getting his arm cut off, then that introduces him into the story, and you go from there. But everyone tells the story differently.
Alright, and recently on DualShockers.com there was an interview about Nico. So we already mentioned her, and yeah, so during an interview, they asked the director Itsuno and the producer Matt Walker if the team ever thought of making Nico playable in the game, and this is what they said. We never thought to make her playable. The way we see Nico, she's not the type to go out there fighting. She's the one who gives you crap. You've got to be better at fighting. You've got to be careful with the merchandise. The idea is that you're going to play as Nero, and that's part of her appeal. She's not the one who goes out there to fight. She's the one that tells you that you got to man up and improve your game. Before we jump to the next quotes, let's talk about this first. So yeah, she's gonna bust your balls a lot during the game.
I mean, if you think about the history of the DMC franchise, that's basically just yet another woman in the game that will bust your balls for not being better and that you're not doing good enough.
But
I'm fine with it.
With her,
I am okay with it.
But with the other characters, they can actually kick ass as well, such as Trish and Lady. Nico will not fight.
Look, let's think about it like this. demon to put out her cigarette. I mean, that's pretty badass in her own right. Obviously, she does not flinch in a combat situation. I mean, just think about it from the trailer and how there was a dead soldier on the ground that Nico was basically introducing the weapons to. I mean, look, woman's insane. She's real fucked in the head. And I'm fine with her not being playable, and because I mean, if she was playable, she's just a normal squishy human being. Unless she brings a giant mech robot to the battle, she's just gonna be like a downgraded version of Lady.
Ooh.
That's right. Said it. Lady over Nico, fight me.
I will not fight you on that because I do agree. Yeah, I'm also glad she's not playable. I would never expected her to be playable at all. Yeah, she's cool. She could be a cool side character. That's completely fine. And since she will bust your balls a lot during the game, I want to see her quips. I want to see what exactly she says. I hope they are funny, because so far we've not seen anything funny from Nico in the trailers. So yeah, I hope they give her a lot of depth to her as a character, because we're not going to see her in combat. We're only going to see her in cutscenes. So let's see how much can be developed.
I mean, we know for a fact that her parents are dead.
Right.
Because in that opening cutscene that Nero mentioned something about a demon. Or no, Nico's the one who brought it up, something about a demon killing her parents.
Yeah, so there's already layers to her. Maybe a troubled past, who knows? I mean, hell, every character has that. So, and we'll continue with the rest of the quotes. Etsuno and Walker also talked about the creation of Nico and the concepts that inspired her character. So here is the quote. Nero has Kyrie, but Kyrie is incredibly important for him, so much so that he doesn't want to put her in any kind of danger. We wanted a character who would be able to go with Nero and be there for him. That's how the idea for Nico came up, sorry. At the same time, we wanted a new kind of heroine character. We wanted one who was going to be sassy, the kind of sassy that we hadn't seen yet in the Devil May Cry series. Again, Kyrie just pushed to the sidelines.
Where she belongs.
I mean, come on, like, if anything, they should have redeemed Kyrie instead of her being a nothing character in DMC4. Like, give her something here.
Look, they realized after DMC4, she's a nothing character, no one likes her. She's nothing but weak waifu material, and at the end of the day, they couldn't build off of her. They knew that the fans didn't particularly want her back.
But
they wanted more Lady and Trish, and I'm fine with that.
That's the point. Like, she's not a strong character in DMC4, which is why in DMC5 so much could be changed, because they already knew how fans perceive her. So it would make sense for them to give a lot more to her character.
There was no rescuing that dumpster fire.
Man, brutal.
Anything else that they do would just be, it would just be pouring oil on that. It would be like trying to redeem Ashley Graham from Resident Evil.
So this pretty much confirms that Kyrie will just have to be saved again, maybe a few times during the game.
I don't know. I feel like she's gonna be relegated to that flashback cutscene, where Nero loses his arm, and then she's gonna like pop up at the end, in a fucking limo or something, and it's like all this. She's probably gonna bust Nero's balls too. At the end of the day, that is what is gonna happen. She's gonna appear out of nowhere and just bitch at Nero in some way.
I mean, she was already the worst female character in the entire series, and the fact that they seem to be doing nothing with her, again, that's just, I think that's unfortunate.
Look, if they're gonna bring her back, at least make her design waifu material.
The design, I'm sure the design would be fine, but the character itself, god damn, nothing to her.
Look, I have no faith in them with Kyrie. At this point, let's just let her be forgotten. She was good for the meme of the sweet surrender. That's where I stand on
I mean,
that.
hey, if she's a nothing character, why is Nero still so interested in her? Why does Nero care so much about her then? I mean, hey, Nico's right there. Nico is right there.
Nico is an okay tier character.
Oh, so you would also take Kyrie?
Between Nico
Yeah.
and Kyrie, yeah, I'd probably take Kyrie.
Oh, she's a nothing character, but you'll still take her.
But I'm not gonna lie, I like her design a little bit better than Nico's. At least as far as like hair and facial expression and voice goes.
And hey, in this with
Look, the clothing, I'll give Nico points on. It is top tier. But it kind of feels reminiscent of Cindy Oram from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but okay, I do want to ask you if Kyrie was in this spot that Nico is in, if they decided to put Kyrie here, would it work?
Fuck no, it wouldn't. They didn't establish Kyrie as, any kind of inventor.
They establish her as oh yeah, she's the girl that has to be saved, and that's about it.
She's a singer. That's it.
Yeah.
That is who she is.
And hey, we're gonna go ahead.
Look, you gotta give Nero a little credit. Fucking the only people he knew were people within that cult, and he's still look. He walked away from that adventure with a very bland and
Boring.
non-developed woman. But hey, as far as looks go, he walked away winning pretty well. And she loves him back in a very open way. It's not like he's Dante, who has two love interests in his life. And one of them is just the BDSM version of his mother, and the other just constantly reminds him of his debt to her.
You got a good point there. I mean, she may be a completely boring character, but she doesn't look too bad.
Yep, she's got that going for her. Good for you, Kyrie.
Yeah,
you have something going for you.
Yeah, the one thing, yeah.
And as bland and helpless as you are, you somehow managed to bag a badass like Nero. So hey, there's something about you that we don't know. That sweet surrender was gotten for a reason.
And hey, we're gonna be getting a lot of sassiness from Nico. Not a surprise, obviously. We already knew this. Is there ever too much sassiness for a person or a character?
At a certain point, I don't think we've seen that yet.
But I don't know, man. I have a feeling that she might cross that line of being a little annoying.
You think so? What do you think the giveaway was?
I don't know. So far with everything that we've seen of her, I've not been super impressed. I think it's fine, but with all the details we're getting from her, I don't know. Obviously I'll wait to see more, but I don't know. There could be. There's a line, from sassiness and annoying. I just hope they balance that.
I feel like we're gonna be crossing over into the annoying territory quite a bit.
Damn.
Look, if that does happen, then yeah, maybe Dante didn't make off so bad, considering neither of his two female companions aren't particularly annoying.
Not at all. Yeah. They're pretty perfect.
They are perfect.
Oh,
Perfection.
Yeah.
But that means that Nero has some shit luck if he's got one annoying woman who constantly busts his balls, and on the other hand, a woman who's completely useless unless it's a singing competition.
hey, maybe he just needs to be more social. Get out there, meet new people.
I don't think that works out well for him. I don't. The only people he's ever known are people within a cult and some dude who ripped off his arm.
And he needs to change his hairstyle if he ever wants anything else. Oh, God. I don't like that.
He needs to keep his current hairstyle. He's getting with the time.
Make it long, damn it.
No, keep it like how it is.
Alright. And they also did go on to talk about how Nico is different from the usual heroines we see in many games. So here's the quotes. You don't see characters like that in many Japanese games. That's something we kind of thought about. Not just in Japanese games, but especially in Japanese games. You have these very specific archetypes. You do kind of have the same variation of male characters and the same variation of female characters a lot of the times. One of the thoughts was, okay, let's try to do something a little different with her. That comes from the sassiness. As a guy who gets a chance to interact with all kinds of people all the time, it'll be cool to hang out with a girl who is that sassy, smokes all the time, points out your flaws, and gives you crap when you need it. There's something cool about being around that kind of person. That's where Nico comes from. Okay. Is there something cool about that?
Yes, but not the way that they executed it. Because, I mean, they're saying that that's not something you see a lot in Japanese games. I mean, look, I've played a few here and there. That's definitely an archetype. Usually it's an older character. It's not always played by a female. Sometimes it's a dude. But they're usually a mentor character, and they usually always smoke. And they're usually sassy in some way where they kind of belittle the protagonist and whatever problems they're having. So Nico is nothing groundbreaking. She is the poor man's Cindy Oram.
Huh.
That's what I have to say about her.
Okay, but when he did say it would be cool to hang out with a girl who is that sassy, smokes all the time, points out your flaws, and gives you crap when you need it, isn't that like any millennial girl these days? The smoking and giving you crap and, the sassiness. I mean, hey, I don't know. I mean, that's a bad image if you just want to describe someone as that.
I mean, I can kind of see what you're talking about. I mean, giving you crap. Yeah, I can attest to that. Smoking. I feel like that's been on the downcline.
Yeah,
the decline.
Yeah. Those
like
those trashy.
You gotta take those traits and balance them out.
Good point.
Yeah. There's usually some kind of balance to them, like that like if we take a character like Nico and transfer her onto like Lady, let's keep the same character design for Lady. If you transfer those traits, then what they would do to balance those character traits out is you would have a tender moment thrown in every once in a while at a very key point, so it makes that character likable.
Likable, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you took Nico's character traits like that and you added them to either Lady, Trish, or Kyrie, they'd probably be more redeemable than I feel like Nico's character.
Yeah, and
I feel like they would be more accepted.
Yeah, and like you said, she's nothing groundbreaking. I mean, we've seen characters like that here and there. In gaming, I can't really think of any at the moment that comes to mind. I'm sure there are some, but yeah, for the DMC franchise, this is obviously new, completely different than any other, not just female character, just characters in general. So she does stand out as being something different, something unique than all of the other DMC characters. Now we just have to see the execution.
I mean, sassiness is nothing new to
Right.
female characters.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I mean, hey, like we said, it's completely fine that she's not playable. Did not expect that, and yeah, we're hopeful for Nico, for being a cool character.
You know what? Maybe I should get a cigarette and start smoking a lot and just be sassy all the time.
You know what? Yeah, you're right.
Maybe that's what all the cool kids are doing these days.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't go out.
But who knows? Maybe after I start doing that, maybe I'll be real popular. Maybe I'll make friends with some dude who's killing demons.
Yeah, just tell me how it goes.
I'll let you know next week what the results are.
Can't wait. Alright, so let's move on to another interview, and this is by GameSpot. Alright, so GameSpot uploaded this 10-minute video on their YouTube channel. It's just the devs discussing a little bit about the game, the older Dante, balancing of the game, as well as the microtransactions. So we're just gonna go through some of it right now. So let's go down some of the GameSpot interview for Devil May Cry 5. Capcom is taking this series back to its quintessentially Japanese roots, which means there should be plenty of over-the-top action, style, and flair. However, Etsuno, who has worked on multiple entries in the series, is aiming to introduce new ideas that also revitalize the returning fundamentals of the DMC series. Yada yada yada, basic stuff. Nothing new here. Alright, so in the video itself, they discuss how they're making Dante a more fun, approachable character to play while maintaining the depth that fans love. A key part of that is a new weapon called the Cavalier, which is also touched on in the interview. Okay, let's talk about this. They were discussing how they're making Dante a more fun, approachable character. Isn't that what he's always been?
Well, I think they mean like as far as gameplay goes.
Yeah, but
I mean, if they keep striving to make him fun and approachable to the younger audience, it's only a matter of time before we see Dante do a dab, and I am not okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about gameplay. Like, Dante has always been one of the funnest, is that a word? Whatever. One of the funnest video game characters ever to play with. So how are you going to make him more?
I think that they're talking like in terms of like some of the bigger combos. Like if you've never played a hack and slash game before in your life, then
what are you doing with your life?
A little bit daunting by seeing. If you take a look at someone who plays this game for like just plays only this game, if you take a look at the combos that they can do, it's a little daunting for even the most experienced player.
I mean, Dante is the definition of fun. So, if they want to make him more fun, dear lord. Is that even, like, possible?
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
I mean, hey, they did say a key part of it is the Cavalier, which is the motorcycle. Hey, it does look fun.
It does look fun. It looks very limited as far as combos go.
Yeah, and it's slow.
But who knows? Maybe there's a little bit more that you can add. I mean, there was a flash that I saw of Dante actually on the motorcycle during gameplay and using the back tire to spin it in a demon's face.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You never know.
Alright, and like I was mentioning before, it's aiming to introduce new ideas that also revitalize the returning fundamentals. Yeah, this is standard stuff. I mean, when a new entry comes in a video game franchise, that's obviously the goal for any sequel or prequel. So, that makes complete sense. Nothing really to touch on over there. And they did talk about the multiple playable characters, which is not new to the series because obviously DMC4 and DMC2. These characters do feel and function in a way that is different from previous incarnations. So, yeah, I mean, also, it was recently revealed that Devil May Cry 5 will introduce in-game monetization, where players can purchase orbs that in turn can be used to buy items and abilities. In the interview, the devs explained that their thinking behind including this and how it impacts the gameplay experience overall. Yeah, so they're just touching on the basic stuff. Nothing really here. You got any more to add to this?
Not particularly. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. The GameSpot interview, there's nothing really new revealed,
Yeah.
nothing groundbreaking, nothing that we haven't really heard or drawn the conclusion of.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the description for the video from GameSpot. It's worth a watch if you're interested. So, yeah, but like you said, nothing really new, nothing big. But, yeah, alright, now let's get on to music. So, we've talked about Little V on a previous episode, and recently he did 2 other Devil May Cry metal covers. One of them is Subhuman, Dante's controversial battle theme song, and also about a few days ago, maybe a week ago, he did Shall Never Surrender from Devil May Cry 4, which is my personal favorite DMC theme song of all time. So, Fallen, after hearing these two, I mean, what do you think?
So here is my opinion on what do you call it? Never Surrender. I listened to the original and I listened to what do you call it? This remake. Both of them were okay songs. Nothing particularly special to me. I did think Little V's cover was pretty good, but I mean, look, Devil Trigger and Devils Never Cry still rank higher for me.
Oh yeah, Devil Trigger, especially.
I mean, even the covers of both of those songs still, in my opinion, beat Never Surrender.
Wait, so you're talking about the original Never Surrender? You're not a big fan?
I'm not a big fan. I think
What?
it's okay.
What? Dude, this is the best.
This is your cowboy hat, huh?
Oh, dude, it's just so good. Easily, my favorite. I mean, I love the other theme songs as well, but man, Shall Never Surrender. It's so good. It's so good.
And you know my opinion on Subhuman.
Yeah.
The original was terrible, and the cover. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like the cover either. I mean, Little V, he did what he could. It sounds decent, but I think just through and through, Subhuman is it's a pretty bad song. Like I don't, if other people try to redeem it, more power to you if you can make it work. But I don't think it's a song that'll ever be good.
Yeah.
That is my opinion.
Yeah, most people the same way as you. As I said, I don't mind Subhuman, the original. I mean, it's whatever. But the metal cover, yeah, it's decent. It's pretty good. I do love his Shall Never Surrender metal cover. But yeah, this guy is super talented, and if you've seen him on Twitter, he also tagged Capcom in, wanting to be part of remaking Dante's theme. I mean, hey.
Plenty of people have been tweeting at Capcom as well, mentioning him.
Yeah, he's got the talent, so I think he's good. He's really good at what he does. So.
But Little V, if you're out there listening to this, I hope you do get that deal with Capcom. I have faith in you.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be better than Subhuman, right?
Yes, it will. I do hope that that there's the cover of Devil Trigger, then there's the original, then there's a version that has both of them at the same time. Look, just include all 3 versions of that song in the game, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, Devil Trigger is still his best metal cover. I mean, man, talk about epic. So yeah, check it out if you haven't listened to it yet. Both Subhuman and Shall Never Surrender, and his other work. He doesn't just do DMC stuff. He does a bunch of songs. So yeah, I mean, hey, who knows? Crazy things have happened. He might be involved in DMC5 in some way. Who knows? Or maybe some other Capcom title. Who knows? But yeah, I mean. So, alright, Fallen, final thoughts on everything we talked about today when it comes to the new weapons, or Nico, or anything else we've mentioned today.
Final thought is cowboy hats for the win, fire both staff for the win, sweet surrender is a great meme, Nico is an okay tier waifu, and Lady is still top tier. Also, Subhuman is a very bad song.
Yeah, it's awesome that Cerberus is back, and I can't wait to see more of our favorite weapons to return in DMC5. Sweet surrender, we get it, guys. We get it. There's a lot of sexual undertones to the weapon. Like, we get. I mean, hey, you've seen the articles just everywhere on and on forums, just a bunch of posts. But hey, the memes are great.
I don't think it's undertones. I think it's like overtones. The only
Yeah,
way
right.
it could get any more obvious is if they actually say how it's gonna go whenever Nero and Kyrie are in the bedroom.
Treat yourself to just Google Devil May Cry Sweet Surrender. Just treat yourself to that. It's amazing. And yeah, Nico, we shall see how she's portrayed. Let's see how sassy she can really be. And yeah, Little V, love his work and can't wait to see what he does next. Alright, thank you so much for listening to the Discussion May Cry podcast. We're going to be back next week to talk about all the latest news and anything else in the Devil May Cry universe. So yeah, and also subscribe for all the latest Devil May Cry news and information. We're going to be having tons and tons of content leading up to the release of the game, and share it with people that you know that are Devil May Cry fans. And yeah, so thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, all that, and we'll talk to you next time.